Oh, 1 second. Hello. Can you guys hear me okay? Can you hear me okay? Mezzo Matthew has entered the chat. Mezzo Matthew. Not Mezzo Matt, Mezzo Matthew. Papa. Matt, did you see the new ENSO forecast came out? It might have honestly came out a couple days ago and I missed it, but you probably saw it. Well, let me put this back on. One second. Where is it? Google Chrome. Look at that confidence. La Niña. I do live in Minnesota now. I do live in Minnesota now, Austin. Correct. Correctamundo. Snowy winter for some. We'll go over. God, I just get spam calls every day. I can't handle it anymore. Hey guys, I'm 7,000 likes away from 1 million likes on my page. So if you could all just go in and like every single one of my videos. I'm just kidding. Okay. So yeah, anyways, week La Nina. I just talked about it in the video I just posted. But let me show you something. Let me show you something about a week La Nina. we all know what happens there. Great. No, yeah, okay, here. This is a good one here. Let's keep that up. And then I want to show you something. I don't need ENSO forecast. Hello, I'm streaming. Can I call you back after? I'm streaming. Can I call you back after? All right, bye. Sorry, I want to show you guys something. Let me do this. Let me do this real quick. 1 second. 1 second, chat. We got some interesting stuff to look at today. Here we go. Is this what I'm looking for? Not that one. Is this what I'm looking for? No. I need to bookmark some of these tabs is my problem. Nope, that's the one I'm on now. Come on, it's in here somewhere. Come on, it's in here somewhere. 1 second, chat. Was it in this one? How did I lose it? Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This is fine. I'll use this. This is fine. We can work with this. But I'm trying to figure out. NOAA, NCDC, climate composites. Okay, I'm gonna bookmark this when I pull it back up because I use this all the time and I don't have it saved. Promise I'm almost done, chat. Okay, there we go. Let me just bookmark this. Okay. So, here's what's important, especially about the confidence in a weak La Nina. This is why it's important. All right. Temperature anomaly, long-term average of a weak La Nina. Okay? Everything. This is a long-term average. It's not perfect, but all of this stuff is typically cooler between the months of December and February in a weak La Nina. There's some charts that it's a little bit off. Now, with the strong La Nina, it would look a little bit different. With the strong La Nina, you're looking more like... you're looking more like these, where a lot of the south remains warmer down here. Not with the weak La Nina. This is a pretty good representation of what we could see, temperature-wise. Temperature-wise. So, but here's okay, whatever, right? Because we all know how much can you really trust an ENSO forecast? It doesn't always end up being correct. It's correct. It pushes you in the right direction over 50% of the time, though. But here's the thing with a weak La Nina. The confidence in the forecast of a weak La Nina is much higher than the confidence of an outlook with a strong La Nina. Exhibit A. Frequency of occurrence. We're 60 to 80% through a big area right here, especially up here. So here's your anomaly that we see, your average over 100-year anomaly that we see in a weak La Nina. That's cold air, blue, cooler than average air. Look at the confidence. We're up 70 maybe even some areas 80% chance confidence in a below average temperature-wise winter. Nebraska, North, South Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa. You don't get that type of confidence. You don't get that type of confidence with a strong La Nina. You get some confidence, but it's not as strong. So then down here, we have composite and trend. Let me see here. But anyways, going back to this and our confidence increasing of a weak La Nina specifically. Now, as we get into, you know, DJF, December, January, February, maybe we're in ENSO neutral. But even if it's flirting with ENSO neutral to weak La Nina, you're still going to have... Remember, this is still going, it's going to be a negative ENSO neutral, meaning an ENSO neutral is when you've got your ENSOs 3 and 4, 0.5 degrees Celsius above or below the average temperature out there in Nino 3 and 4. So even if it were to go to an ENSO neutral, it'd be a negative ENSO neutral. So it would be much closer to a weak La Nina. So yeah, I'm very happy with my winter forecast in saying that I think we could see record-breaking cold temperatures potentially near this year up here. I'm talking about, you know, polar vortex, you know, Arctic outbreak, definitely there. I'm pretty happy with my confidence in some nice snowstorms through here and potentially above average snowstorms in the mid-Atlantic. Now, the one area that's sketchy is I did think mild and dry up here in the Northwest, but that has to do with the MPO and not ENSO, because ENSO isn't end-all be-all. You've got a bunch of other oscillation crap you want to look at to compare it. Do I think South Georgia will get snow again? If you want me to be honest, no. Could it? 100%. It's way too early. We got to see what exactly we're going to in winter. But here's the thing. Being in a weak La Nina last year, that favors a drier and warmer southeast for winter. Now, again, that's the average of the winter. So when people get upset when I say, you know, your winter down here could be average to above average temperatures and low precipitation, like, it's not going to feel like winter. You could still have 1, 2, maybe even 3 weeks of winter that get really cold and have a good chance for snow. It just means if you average up the 3 months together, meaning you could have 1 or 2 really hot months in December, January, February, and then you could have one of those months be really cold and potentially have some snowstorms move in. But it just balances out that the winter as a whole is a little more drier and a little more warmer. But yeah, I mean, warmer, drier down here seems to be the thing. Although I do think we could get above average snow, Kentucky, portions of Missouri, northern Tennessee, West Virginia, and then up there in the NDR. But yeah, so this is kind of the direction I thought it would go. And so I'm glad it went there, because that's what I was going off of my... in my winter outlook video, if you watched it, I said, I think I have much higher confidence in this staying as a weak La Nina. And so that trend has validated, at least for now. Really quick, and then I'll start answering some questions. Here's our current temperature anomalies. Look at this stuff moving in, and it's going to sink. And over the next few days, this cold air is going to stick around, especially in the southern plains. Like, oh my gosh, Mississippi Valley, southern plains, very below average, very below average. And then the southeast gets involved. Look at that. Look at the southeast getting involved. Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, Florida. Very cool air. It's nice. Is this a 12Z? I actually think we might have a newer run. Let me double check. Okay, yeah, this is the Euro 12Z. So, let's see. Is no one in... Interesting. Let's push out. Let me see, the 28th, 29th, 30th. Yeah, that cool air sticks around for a while. But man, the Northwest is just baking. The Northwest is absolutely continuing to bake. I feel bad for them. All right. Last thing really quickly. We do have 100% chance. Oops. Let's take that off. We do have a 100% chance of our next cyclone forming. Yes. 100% chance. That's not According to me, that's according to the National Hurricane Center. There you go. 100% chance. Overall chance high. Yeah, I would say it's absolute. 100% chance of this becoming our next cyclone within the next 2 days. It's a fish storm. Bermuda is somewhere like right here. So Bermuda's just to the west of it. It should be okay, except for some large swells potentially. This is what gets interesting down here. We've got a lot of dry air out ahead of this. They've lowered it to a 20% chance, and I can't knock them for that. Lots of dry air out ahead of this, and then there's going to be a lot of wind shear as it moves into the Eastern Caribbean. If it can survive this trek here, we've got warm water, likely a less shear and more moist environment out ahead here, which means we could get a strengthening storm moving into the Gulf or up towards Florida. Too far out to worry about right now, though, but that would be your general tracking like this, and I can show you the latest updated spaghetti models super quickly. Let's go to our invest. It's not 90L. What is it? Our 99L? Yeah. So here's our latest spaghetti models. As you can see, like I said, there's very little strengthening happening here. The storm's just fighting for its life to stay alive here. But once it gets past that environment, you can see we have a lot of models that want to strengthen this, right? Make landfall. That's a hurricane landfall, hurricane landfall, hurricane landfall, tropical storm landfall. Again, very far out. I mean, we're talking landfalls over like 200 hours out, so there's no really need to prepare or worry because we don't even know if this storm's going to survive getting through this dry air and this harsh shear environment out ahead of it. So if we still have a cyclone trying to form here, I would say 3 to 4 days from now, then you're going to want to pay attention in the Gulf states, definitely. But as of now, we don't know if it's going to survive the trip. So yeah, that's good. Not much severe weather going on today. Not much severe weather. Here's our 10-day temperature outlook. Look at all that cold air. If you're in the blue, cooler than average. This is 2 weeks. Still a lot of cool air. And yeah, for severe weather today, last thing, there you go. Nothing much going on. This is this marginal we have out here, southeastern Wyoming, central to eastern Colorado, and northeastern New Mexico is just very small chance of some damaging wind and hail. All right, chat, what's going on? What is cracking? Let me go back to the long wave. Oh, yeah. I mean, look at Florida right now. Look at all this convection over Florida. Yeah. And if we go over to weather-wise, look at this. The whole state of Florida is getting rocked right now. Most of Florida. Not the whole state. I did get weather bell. Yep. I was just showing it earlier. Here. I got weather bell. You want to look at teleconnections real quick? I did forget to go over those. As we get into fall, these start to matter. Euro ensembles, Arctic oscillations looking to go negative. EPO. This is one of the reasons we're going to have some very cool temperatures out through the beginning of September for a lot of the lower 48. NAO running about average. Who cares? This is an absolutely I don't know if Matt's still here. An astronomical positive PNA, which means I expect to see record-breaking, 100-year record-breaking heat through parts of the West. Nevada, Utah, California, Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Montana. I expect to see some potentially Arizona and New Mexico. I expect to see some potentially record-breaking heat. Like absolutely record-breaking. But this is also another reason why we're staying cooler out east. Thank you, Wes, for holding the ridge for us. But then look at this. This is an ensemble too. This isn't a deterministic model, so I think it's being cautious. It wants to keep this PNA positive all the way through. Let's see, like the 7th of September, the first week of September. Yeah. So, anyways, that's heat. What graphs do you use? I don't know. I use all the graphs. You know, whatever graph's working at the time for me to be able to get my point across. I understand pretty much all the graphs that Weatherbell has to offer. Some better than others, but I can pretty much read them all. Kayla and Missy Ann Williams, I appreciate you. Hold up, I gotta pull up my YT on here, if you know what I mean, because I need to make sure that I'm live. Okay, I am. Oh, is my music blasting? I forgot to turn my music down, guys. Sorry, someone should have told me. My music was blasting, wasn't it? Was it blasting that whole time? I don't have my headphones on like an idiot. Was my music blasting that whole time? Oh my gosh. Okay. Hopefully it wasn't too bad. Okay. I like it like this fun. Okay. That's a little bit better. So. Alright. Okay. There we go. That's what I wanted. Oops. I didn't mean to close out Wendy. 1 second, guys. 1 second. There's our satellite right there. But yeah, Florida's getting hammered right now with storms. Nice little satellite look at the tropics here. You can see where our areas of concern are. This is our main area of concern because of the possibilities here towards the states. Leaves are falling in northern New Jersey. Nice. Yeah, I mean, I woke up this morning and the feels like in where I am in Minnesota was 48 degrees, something like that. Low or low 50? Was it low 50? I think it was high 40s. Yeah, our lows are supposed to actually hit into the 40s. Let me see here. In summer. I mean, let's just see what the weather app thinks. Even though I don't typically go off it too much. Yeah, I mean, our feels like low 47 on Tuesday. 45 degrees feels like on Monday here. 45 degree feels like in August. Crazy. What's the weather? And I think the actual is 49. What's the weather looking like for Colorado, the 26th and the 4th? Here, let's do this. Let's take a look. Wow, look at Florida. Let's go back to Weather Bell. You want what's the weather looking like? Okay, well we can look at temperature real quick. Let's do this. Let's go to anomalies. Let's just go straight into Colorado. And let's take a look at our anomalies. So I think you said the 26th. Here's the 26th. Cool air moving in on the 26th. Well below average air. You can see there. So eastern Colorado is going to likely be... The mountains could be around average, but eastern Colorado is going to get in on some of that cool air on the 26th. Man, moving out towards the 4th. It's a battle between... You know, we're still expected to have a ridge out west and then kind of troughing out east. So Colorado's really going to be split. Mountain weather kind of traps heat, traps cool air too, depending on what's moving into it. So it does look like we're going to remain cooler out here for a while and then potentially maybe a little bit warmer out in western Colorado. What going on? Confused Blonde. I appreciate you. Yeah, I mean, we can take a look at what we think is going to happen. Let me see this. Let me look at... Let me look at this. You know what's interesting? Why doesn't it have... Why do I not remember this having, or does this not have future radar? Am I crazy? Has it never? All right. Anyways, here you go. Colorado. Can we have some storms moving in? 26. Yeah, yeah. There definitely could be some storminess there. At least the latest Euro's thinking that. And as we get out into the beginning of September, it looks like we're gonna have a nice ridge continuing to actually keep that dry. But 26 could be a little bit stormy. Yo, what's going on? Can't hear it now. Wait. Can't hear what? What is going on with my streams? How do I only have 28 people in here? I mean, don't get me wrong. I appreciate all 28 of you very much. But that's a little bit weird for my streams. A little bit weird. And I appreciate the 2 people who followed me too. Restart it maybe? I know. I was thinking about it. Sometimes it works 99% of the time. If my numbers in my stream are low at like 40, 50, I restart it and they'll be at like 200. I don't know why. I don't know why. It's like something is like there's almost an error that occurs sometimes when you log into or when you go live on TikTok where it doesn't like connect it right. Oh, yeah, Kim. Yeah, for some reason I usually keep my headphones on so I can hear myself, my volume in the music, and I didn't have my headphones on, and I was like, oh my god, my music's blasting. And I'm up to 43. You know what? I'll stay in here a little bit longer, and if it's acting weird, then I'll just log out and come back in. You know what I want to start doing? You know how people react to like, there's like reaction channels where like they react to movies, new musics, and stuff like that. I want to start reacting to other people's forecasts, like YouTube videos talking about like what their winter outlook is, what their tropical outlook is, and all that stuff. But I have to figure out if, because you know, you can get, there's certain ways you can get in trouble with like playing other people's content on stream, and I have to figure out if I can do that without being penalized. Because I when I watch other people's forecasts and I watch other weather stuff online, I like to critique it sometimes. I think it'd be fun to do it on stream. Listen, people can critique my forecast too. Hold up, something developing in the Gulf, in the western Atlantic potentially. Now, listen, if this thing holds itself together and is still we still see a low pressure as it enters the Western Caribbean, I think there's a high chance it has some sort of impact on the States. I would expect it to move up in this corridor here. But there's tons of dry air out ahead of it and tons of wind shear. So we don't know. I mean, look at this. This whole stretch, they don't even see this thing getting down below 1,008 millibars. So the question is, can it survive this dry air and wind shear? And if it can, this may be our first storm to actually make a land. We haven't had a landfalling storm this year, right? I'm not going crazy, right? We have not had a landfalling system. Oh, Chantel? Oh, what was that? Like, wait, hold up. Was that a tropical storm? Oh, yeah. I forgot because it was... Yeah, that's right. In South Carolina. Yeah, wind speeds at 50 miles per hour. It was basically it was almost just a tropical depression, and it strengthened at the last time. Yeah, the pressure was 1,004 millibars at landfall. It technically was a landfalling tropical system, but barely. That's why it's not in my memory bank. It was glorified rainstorm. Yeah, that's the issue though. Even if it is a weak system, it can spawn up. The rainfall can always be an issue, flooding, and then it can definitely spawn some tornadoes. If it goes into the Gulf, could it hit South Padre Island, South Texas? It could. Listen, we don't know if it's even going to form because, like I said, it's got a lot of issues that it's got to move through, that it's got to deal with. It's got to talk to its therapist. But no, anywhere, I would still say anywhere here, anywhere along that coastline, if this thing does make it into the Central Caribbean and is still has itself together, I'd say anywhere there could technically be affected. Most likely it would be a Gulf landfall though if it did. Yeah, tornado and flooding. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I walked outside today and I was like, why am I not at the Minnesota State Fair? So beautiful. So beautiful. But I'm going tomorrow. I think tomorrow's beautiful as well. Yeah. The feels like high tomorrow is 63 degrees. High. Oh my gosh. And perfectly sunny. Oh my gosh. There's going to be a billion people there, but I don't care. No problem, Luke. No problem, Luke. Let's get some more frames into this. Let's go 50 frames. There we go. Let's see. How long have I been streaming? 30 minutes? Should I try to... Dude, I'm worried about 99L. I don't like it. Yeah. You know, Matt, yeah, like I was saying, tons of dry air right here. That's going to affect it because this thing doesn't have a closed-off circulation. Pretty, I'd say moderate levels of wind shear out ahead of it here. If this thing is still rotating and has some thunderstorms with it, it's still a rotating ball of convection as it passes like, or as it enters the Western Caribbean, it's going to be an issue. There's going to be an issue. We've had a pocket of low shear here for a very long time. It's going to enter a moist low shear region with very warm waters because we have nothing moving through here right now. So yeah, if it makes it past this line, I think we're talking potential impacts to the States. Big if, though. All it needs to do is survive the next 4 days. If this storm can survive the next 4 days and continue to produce thunderstorms and continue, to not be torn to pieces, we'll be really talking about it. 100%. And you got to think about it, too. But it would be making landfall if it did hold itself together and move north, like right at the start of September, where we're really getting into that peak season where you expect to see that type of stuff happening. Yeah. Listen, let's hope for everyone's sake this thing gets torn to pieces over the next 4 days, because that is definitely a possibility. It is. Let me check on something real quick, guys. Okay, sorry, I'm just checking something real quick. Chat. Matt, you got any other interesting updates? Obviously, we've got lots of cold air moving in from the north. Matt, the feels like low here tomorrow. I think what did I say? It's like 43 degrees in summertime, dude. I'm like, what? That is insane. Yeah, so we got cooler moving in. We've got an interesting little 99L could be a threat to the States here in a few days. Not much severe weather going on today. Really just general thunderstorms. A little bit of a threat over there in Colorado. But actually, one thing I did forget to mention is we do have... This is just wind and hail. We do have a lot of rainfall, I believe. Let's look at our multi-day. Let's go to our 72-hour rainfall forecast. Western Florida, lots of rainfall. That could be a little bit of an issue. Oklahoma, portions of Kansas, Colorado, and northern New Mexico, too. We'll have to see if we get any flash flooding triggered out in any of those areas. There's a lot of rainfall over a 3-day span. Look at the 5-day. Absolutely getting hammered with rainfall near Santa Fe, Pueblo, Tulsa, Wichita, and then southeastern Florida looks like it's going to get involved in a ton of rainfall as well. We could have significant rainfall, too, out there. OBX, North Carolina. So that's something to watch. Rainfall is an issue right now. Oh my gosh, it didn't change. Here you go. Sorry, chat. I keep doing this. I gotta stop. Look at that 5-day. Look at that 5-day rainfall. Big issues, obviously. Here. And then coastal North Carolina, OBX. Look at that. So we'll have to watch for some flooding potential in all of these areas. What's our excessive rainfall today? Excessive rainfall. Yeah, coastal North Carolina, South Carolina, big portion of Georgia, northern Florida today, Pueblo to Santa Fe, central Arizona, and then up there in east central California. Yeah, OBX doesn't need it, but it's going to get it probably, unfortunately. Will Houston see cold temperatures this winter? Well, we were talking about the latest ENSO updates, latest winter updates, and I'll bring this back up because this is a good chart to look at. Here's a pretty decent looking temperature anomaly long-term average for weak La Niñas. This doesn't mean that these areas are guaranteed just to have a colder winter. It just means there's, like, if you take up the averages, large numbers, it's over a 50% chance here. Some of these areas, like up here, I would say 70 to 80% chance we're going to see a below average temperature-wise winter. Once you get down to these, it's more of like maybe a 60-40 split. But yeah, typically in a weak La Nina, and you can see these in all the other charts I'll show you, but typically in a weak La Nina, this area is about an average winter, which you can get pretty cold temperatures down in Houston if you get an average winter. You know, we can look at some of these other charts. You can see how it acts. Some of these do want to give Texas a below average winter as well. This is a crazy look here. I doubt that's going to happen. But yeah, and then if we're talking about rainfall, this is pretty decent for a weak La Nina. I'd expect a little bit more in the Great Lakes, usually above average precipitation here. This is kind of a question mark. We'll see if that happens, but I think it actually will. That's why I put that in my winter forecast. What about winter in Connecticut? Yeah, I would expect winter in Connecticut. I'd expect you guys to have below average temperatures, that's for sure. I do think... I do expect above average winter. Like I said, I expect above average snowfall for a lot of people in this area. Little bit of a gamble with this one. Not everyone's going to see above because, you know, storms don't cover an entire region typically unless it's a huge nor'easter, and then you just get a huge dump of snow for everyone, which we haven't seen a big nor'easter in a while. And the more years we go through, what has it been, like 5 years? The more years that pass without seeing a big nor'easter, like, we're overdue out there in the east for a big nor'easter. I wonder if it'll be this year. I think we'll have the climate for it. Winter precip in New Jersey. Again, I think it's going to end up being an okay winter for New Jersey if you like snow. Tiny bit of a gamble with that, but I do think it'll be decent. A lot of these weak La Ninas do want to make it a little bit drier up there. In the Northeast, some keep it average. Here's the thing, though. We have something. Let me actually go to tropical tidbits. Do I want to do tropical? Yeah. This is throwing me for a loop, and it's throwing everyone for a loop. It's actually beginning to cool off up there. Wow, this is changing quickly. Let's go into our northern Pacific. Hold up. That's not what I want. That's not. Why is this? Okay. This has cooled a little bit, but this is very, very warm. And although, wow, this is getting cold quickly too. This is actually really recently updated. This is getting cold quickly. This is throwing me off a little bit because there's not many composites that have this much heat up here. Or that type of temperature, positive temperature anomaly up north as we're transitioning into a weak La Nina. So that's going to throw off some of what we would classically see with the weak La Nina. If this remains. And I think that could feed some bigger storms out east. I think it could feed some bigger storms out east. Which potentially is going to throw off your classic your classic La Nina or weak La Nina of, you know, a drier, potentially drier mid-Atlantic in New England. So, we'll see. Time will tell. Man, these ocean temperatures are changing quickly. Minnesota, I expect to have a very cold winter, below average. It's not guaranteed, but I think 70-80% chance. Raleigh could use some cold, yeah, I bet. Well, you guys are actually about to cool down in Raleigh in a couple days. A nice little cool down for maybe, yeah, for maybe like a week. Is there a hurricane coming to the East Coast? I've heard a lot of people talking about it. I'm confused. We have no idea. We have this disturbance down here that the NHC, National Hurricane Center, is only giving a 20% chance of development within the next 7 days. And they're only giving it a 20% chance of development because we have a ton of dry air out ahead of it and a ton of wind shear out ahead of it. As I've said, if this thing can hold itself together as it passes through that dry air and wind shear and make it into the Western Caribbean, there's a chance we get a hurricane, tropical storm or hurricane making landfall somewhere in the Gulf. There's a chance. Nothing to worry about yet, though, because we don't even know if this thing's going to hold itself together. But this is kind of what some of the models are looking at here. You know, some of the possibilities if it does remain strengthened. And you can see what some of the models are doing there. Or if it does hold itself together as it passes through that kind of rough conditions out ahead of it. Tennessee not getting nothing this winter. Okay. So explain to me why. Is that just your intuition? Because if it's your intuition, you're probably wrong. North Carolina's had one of the coolest Augusts in modern history. I don't think so. You think so? We can figure that out right now. We can figure that out right now. Let's see here. Let's go into sorry, I'm trying to remember how I want to do this. Let's do this. August. No, this isn't what I want. One second. This is interesting. Our temps are much cooler. Our average temps are much cooler over summer this year than they were last year. Look at this difference. See this? This is last year. Oh, sorry. The orange is last year. The red is this year. So the orange is this, and the red is this year. World temperatures have come down. Has to do with the ozone healing itself a little bit. There's a little bit more ice on the planet. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out. You never hit 100 this year. I can pull it up. I always get confused. I can actually pull up and figure that out. Let's go. I think I can do it this way. North Carolina. No, but this isn't right now. Come on. Yeah, because it doesn't have 2025. Yeah, it's only going to 2024. No, I want right now. What the heck? Here, let's go back here. Let's go back here. And let's do Let's do this. Yeah, I want through August 23rd. I've pulled it up a million times and I'm just forgetting how now. That's frustrating. What's going on, NTX? Let me see if I have it changed. Climate analogs. Let me see if I have it saved. I have too many bookmarks. But there's a lot of good stuff in here. Climate maps. I think maybe this one. Yeah, this is it. This is it. All right. Departure from normal temperature. Oh, that's normal precipitation. Departure from normal temperature. Since the first of the month. Oh, wow. Well, you're right. It's been cool over there. You are correct. Interesting. Not just North Carolina, but can you guys see this? So there we go. There we go. This is the month of August. Oh my gosh, that's very large. This is the month of August. Look how cool it has been. Okay, now I got to make that smaller. Okay, you know what? I'm going to zoom out and just do it from how we were. This is the month of August. It's been very cool along the eastern seaboard. Very cool along the eastern seaboard. It's actually not been super hot anywhere, which is surprising. I mean, the Midwest has been pretty hot. I would say the Midwest, Ohio Valley has been pretty hot. I'm surprised that the plains. I thought the plains this month was actually gonna look a lot warmer than that. But that's interesting. I would say, yeah. I mean, if we go back in time, I'd have to use the climate reanalyzer to look at that. But this is probably definitely one of the cooler Augusts in North Carolina in recent history, for sure. Yeah. I feel bad for whatever city's right there in southern Mississippi. That's hot. Let's look at our precipitation this month. Wow. Look at that. Oh my God, Savannah, Georgia. Anyone in here from Savannah, Georgia? They have had a way above average August precipitation wise, but the Southeast in general. I mean, this region here is at above average precipitation. This whole region right here. Has it been raining a lot there, guys? Anyone who's in there? At the climate realizer. Yeah, I know why you're saying that, Morgan. No, I actually went into this by myself. This was my own doing. I love looking at this type of stuff. Let's take a look at. Let's see here. Evaporation index. Well, I mean, there's not much more interesting stuff to look on in here, but that's interesting. I didn't realize it had been that cool down there. Definitely interesting. Yard has been really spongy all summer. Makes sense. It looks like Erin is starting to make herself known in Scotland. It's been cloudy and drizzly since late last night, and it's. Let me see what's going on up here. No, I gotta go to. Can I get world on here? No, you're not gonna give me world. All right, I'll just go over to. Let's go over to. Here we go. Wow, it's actually hard to tell where Aaron is because I need to put this in motion. I know what I can do. Let me go into tropical tidbits. Yeah, let's go on tropical tidbits. Let's see. Oh, they don't even have Aaron anymore. Oh my gosh. She's gone. Let's just look at satellite imagery of the Atlantic wide. Can we get northern Atlantic in here? Yep, there's Aaron. There's the low right there. So it is expanding. Definitely some of those storms are going to be moving up into Europe. Let's see here. Choose a region. Let's get up. I can't even get up there. I can't even get up there. What I could do is just go to the GFS. I could just go to the GFS and radar Omega. That's just what I'm going to do. Global GFS. Thank you. All right, let's look at what's happening with Aaron. It looks like the main impacts want to begin around the 25th. Yeah, it's going to bring in a decent amount of rainfall for at least a few days out there towards Ireland, the UK. Definitely. Southern or portions of Iceland as well. Let's switch this back here. When does my subscription renew? Haven't received any notifications. I don't think I can see that information. Maybe. It'll take a while to find it. Yeah, I don't know if I can find it. Is still Cat 1 or tropical storm? I think. I mean, the fact that here, I'll look on here. I think it's post-tropical already. Yeah, I mean, I think it's post-tropical already. Yeah. That's what I was saying. I was like, this thing isn't going to be a tropical storm or hurricane as it gets up here. It's post-tropical. Yeah, the models were doing stupid stuff. The models were being dumb. Yeah. She falling apart. Yeah, Kim, no problem. What's going on, Sandra? What is cracking? She's going by. Correct. Man, what time is it here? 3? Maybe I should go to the Minnesota State Fair tonight and tomorrow. I feel like that would be the best option. Yeah. Yeah. Wait, it'll be called the X-Tropical Storm over here. X-Tropical, post-tropical. You know, it's still going to bring some tropical-like features. You're going to have some pretty heavy rainfall and some gusty conditions, I think, as we get into Monday morning up there in Ireland, the UK. Yeah. Yeah, I'm all moved in. Pretty much everything is done and unpacked and pictures are hung. We just have to finish my daughter's room and then our room. We're doing our room last because, like, whatever. We just want the house to look good. No one ever comes in our room. So our room's still a mess. But pretty much everything else except for... Because our daughter sleeps in our room because she's like 4 months old. So her room and our room, and then we're done. Yeah. It's been a lot of work over the last 48, 72 hours. That's an understatement. I really want to see what happens if I react. Okay, let me look this up, guys. Can you react to... Let's call it weather videos while stream on Or I think you can. Yes, you can interact with these videos while streaming on, but you must ensure your community is transformative and adds new value. Oh, okay. So I can react to stuff. That's right. But like, if I just play a YouTube video, like say a weather forecast YouTube video, and let it play, and don't say anything, that's copyright. If I pause it and I talk about it, let's see. Let's see if there's any new interesting videos here. I want to see if anyone has a much different winter outlook than me. Let's see here. 2 days ago, Farmer's Almanac. You guys want to look at the Farmer's Almanac? I'm not a big fan of it, but that we've got to do. Let's look at it. Oh no, guys! I'm slowly gonna become a live reactor. I might stop my TikTok live and then restart it because I'm getting 0 people in here, and that usually resets it. All right, I'm gonna close out my TikTok stream and then reopen it in like 4 seconds. I'm gonna say 8 seconds total. Well, I might change the title, so we're gonna say like 15 seconds. All right, I'll be right back, guys. I'll be right back. Okay, let's get that going. Okay. Okay. All right, let's take a look at this. I'm going to let some people get back in here, and then we're going to take a look at this. Bum, bum, ba-da-dum, dum. What's poppin'?
Just calling you. Looking at my flight this week, so everything's like confirmed.
To come up here? When?
With Riley. First news.
Oh, yeah. Okay, sweet. Oh, we're going to have some fun. Perfect. Not this upcoming Wednesday. In September, right?
I think it's September, I think we do the 10th.
Okay. All right, cool. All right, I'm streaming, but I'll call you in a little bit, and we'll talk about it. All right, see you. All right. All right, let's get some people back in here, and we're going to react to the latest Farmer's Almanac. Okay? I actually want to see if it's if Farmer's Almanac agrees with it's a fantasy forecast, but I want to see if it agrees with my winter outlook. I do want to see. All right. I'm going to let some people get in here. I'll be right back. Give me 1 second. Ooh. I'm getting old. I need to do some stretching. Man. Yeah, I need to stretch more. All right. Let's check this out. Let's check out the Farmer's Almanac. And I think before we do, I want to do a little bit of a poll. I want to do a little bit of a poll. Give me 1 second here. Jesus Christ loves me. That's good. Okay. Okay, let's do a quick little poll here. Poll vote. Oh, crap. No, not that. I need that right there. Sorry, guys, 1 second. There we go. All right. Custom. Create new poll. Let's see. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna do yes, no. Okay, we'll just do yes and no. That's fine. I was gonna be funny. All right, you can answer that poll, and we're gonna watch this. Let's see what's going on here.
Now, the Farmer's Almanac has already released their 2025-2026
Is that a good volume for you guys when I play this?
winter outlook.
Yeah, News 3's meteorologist Alex Libby
Is that a good volume? Or do you need me to turn them up? Let me know.
explains what they are predicting for our region. Alex.
Yeah,
Good, okay.
here is their official 2025-2026 winter outlook. This is the Farmer's Almanac, not to get
All right. Wait.
confused with the old Farmer's Almanac.
Oh, so there's an old and new one. Okay, really quickly, not all of you, but some of you probably saw my winter outlook, what I think is going to happen. Let's see where the Farmer's Almanac agrees with me. Oops, why is that so light? Why is that so light? Hold up 1 second, guys. This right here, they agree with me. Wow. Let me take captions off, first of all. Okay, that's like the only place that they agree with me. Which honestly, I'm happy because I don't want to agree with the Farmer's Almanac because I think, well, we'll talk about it in a second. Do they agree with me anywhere else? Actually, no. I agree with. Very cold and snowy. I would put very cold is confirmed. So that's pretty good agreement with me. Cold, snow-filled. I do agree. Actually, you know what? Look at that. Actually, now that I'm looking at it, okay, I agree on those areas. Okay, so I agree on this. I agree on this with Farmer's Almanac. Uh-oh. These areas... Actually, let me redraw this. Wow, that's shocking. I agree with that. Okay? I don't agree with chilly and wet. Could happen. I don't agree with wet down here. Average, I agree with. I don't agree with. Well. I think this is going to be average and average. Anyways, let's continue. Let's continue.
And in our area, kind of, Tennessee, Kentucky area, kind of wedged in between very cold and snowy.
Volume good, thanks, guys.
And then average temps.
What's going on, Angela?
Wet. Now, across
I
the
appreciate
country,
you.
very cold and snowy as well in the Midwest and plains.
Okay.
Chilly and wet to the northwest. Average temperatures and wet to the southwest. And cold and wet for the Texas area. New England, cold and snow filled. So these are pretty vague, words over the...
Let's look at my poll. Only 2 people voted in my poll. That's disappointing. And the you both said no. I don't trust the Farmer's Almanac. I'm gonna restart the poll. All right.
Country. So you might be wondering, how do they come up with this forecast? Well,
Yeah.
earlier today, I spoke with Sandy Duncan, the editor of the Farmer's
Okay.
Almanac, who says it's a formula that goes back more than 200 years.
And that's why
We do
it's
use a
terrible.
mathematical-
Yeah, they don't. No. What's her name? What's her name? I need to know her name.
100 years of the Farmer's Almanac, who says it's a Sandy Duncan, the editor.
Okay, Sandy, I don't want to hear anything about a math equation. I don't want to hear anything about a math equation being used for Farmer's Almanac. It's been horribly wrong 7 of the last 10 years. It has about a 30% success rate. What math are they using? Kindergarten math?
The mathematical and astronomical formula. We look a lot at the moon, where it is.
Oh, there it is. There it is. There it is. They look at the moon for our winter forecast. There it is. I knew astrology was going to get brought into this. It's the Farmer's Almanac. If you need any more proof as to why not to trust the Farmer's Almanac, it's a very strong mathematical equation that involves looking at the moon to determine what's going to happen over winter. You heard it right from Sandy's mouth. All right.
What phase it's in. We also look at where the planets are, and it's pretty much a proprietary formula that only a few of
Yeah,
us know
send me
at
to
the
the moon.
Farmer's Almanac.
Oh, it's proprietary formula. Yeah, because if you release the formula out to the public, they'd be like, what is this? That's not telling us anything.
Duncan says the secret formula they use makes
Oh, what's the secret sauce?
their seasonal
It's astrology.
outlooks. It's nearly the same as their founding editor, David Young, used in 1818.
I'm glad we're using mathematical equations from the 1800s to help us with our winter forecast. Forget about the 200 years of advancements we've had in the meteorology world. Anyways, no, don't trust the Farmer's Almanac. I'm sorry. I think it's fun. I think the Farmer's Almanac is fun. It's like a tradition. I compare it to, like I said, when the gopher looks at its shadow. You know what I mean? Like, is winter going to last longer or not? Is spring coming earlier? That's what I compare the Farmer's Almanac to. Like, it's a fun time, but it's not accurate at all. It's never going to be accurate. Not at all.
She says they have made some changes and do look at things like the southern El Nino Southern Oscillation, but for the most part, they kept that formula pretty similar. And coming up at News 2 at 5,
two
I
people
go
said
back
yes.
and look at their last year's Farmer's Almanac.
Wow. She said they do look at the... Did you hear that? Wait.
Formula pretty similar. And coming up at southern El Nino Southern, look at things like the southern
He said the Southern El Nino Southern... Yeah. He said they do look at the El Nino Southern Oscillation. So they're looking at the ENSO at least.
El Nino
Okay.
Southern Oscillation, but for the most
Wow. That's interesting. That's interesting. Has Ryan Hall put out his winter
This
forecast
upcoming
yet?
winter season is going to be
Did we get our winter forecast from Ryan Hall yet, guys? Let's see. Hold up here. Let's see. I don't think we did. His winter forecast would have like a billion. It's going to be in the popular one. 2 years. What the heck? No winter forecast yet. I'm shocked. Okay. Interesting. We'll probably get that soon. Oops, my be right back thing is on again. What do you think about chat? Should I become a reaction channel? The Farmer's Almanac used to be decent many years ago. Is Sandy Duncan out of her mind? Poor Sandy. I don't watch anything he puts out. My opinion of him isn't allowed on here. Yeah. I won't share my opinion on anyone. I mean, I don't have any problems with Ryan Hollyo. I mean, I'll admit it. He's one of the reasons I thought I got into streaming and making weather content. I really liked his style, the way his videos were edited, and so definitely a little inspiration from there. Ryan just had a baby this week. Yeah, isn't that his third? Aaron is post-tropical, moving across the northern Atlantic. It's just a big bunch of rain and some gusty winds, but it's not even a storm anymore. The UK, Scotland, or sorry, the UK, Ireland, and Southern Iceland will start to feel effects within the next few days. 25th through the 28th, 29th, possibly. Yeah, 3. I've got 2 little ones. I don't know if we want to do a third. I'm freaking tired, guys. I think I'll just let my kids grow up and not have to deal with newborns and toddlers anymore. You know? I think that's what I'll do. I think my numbers are atrocious today because people are out having fun. It's Saturday and it's cool weather moving into the States. I'm going to do another evening, I think. I think I'm going to do another, well, potentially do another evening stream. Oh, speaking of, I actually forgot. I wanted to look if we had any updates in here on our seasonal outlooks. Let's look at our CFS global. Well, here we go. September. Look at that. Okay. For anyone who's wondering. So this is what we're thinking for September. This is our CFS, a decent model. It's seasonal, so you got to take this with a grain of salt. But potentially for September, I mean, they're thinking below average through a big region here. This is going to be a little bit of a mix, but that's interesting. Moving into October, what are we thinking? Wow. They're expecting a cold October. I bet you a bunch of you are happy seeing this. Again, this is an outlook, so take this with a grain of salt, please. Wow, I haven't said that in a long time. Yeah, take that with a grain of salt. But yeah, a bunch of people would be happy to see at least that's a potential outcome. Moving into November, man, they're really thinking we're gonna keep this cool air trend going. I mean, makes sense based on the ENSO we're going into. I think. And the current trends we're seeing right now. So let me actually look here. So that's this CFS. Let's look at the Euro seasonal. Although the Euro seasonal always puts everything hot. It just does. The European model always thinks everything's going to be hot. The seasonal model. So, yeah. See, we don't even have any cool. It just doesn't put cool on it. They do have December looking pretty cool for, pretty cool for this region, though. All right. Here we go. Canada, what do you think? September, again, this kind of agrees with the CFS. They think we're going to be much cooler here in September. Could be a nice early start to fall. October, that same region stays below average potentially. You get into November. This is classic La Nina. Classic La Nina. Cooler as we get into December up there. And then it holds. But look, I mean, we've got a mid-Atlantic New England in there as well. below average temperatures. Here's our Euro weekly is wild too. All right. Do you think New York City will have snow in October? No. When's the last time it snowed in October in New York City? Has it ever? It's last time it snowed in New York City was 2011. 14 years ago. It was almost in November, October 29th. Wow, they got 3 inches October 29th. That's crazy. Yeah, I'd say that's like a once every 20-year, 30-year event. Oh, Matt said we officially have Fernand. I'm guessing it's our one out there in the Central Atlantic, right? We officially have Fernand. I'm guessing it's this one. Cool. Thanks for the update, Matt. Cool. And I'm saying cool because it's not going to hit anyone. I like hurricanes. As long as they're not tearing people's homes apart. All right, let's look at... Let's just go to the NHC real quick. Let's get that update. It's on Tropical Tidbits now? Oh, wow. Yeah, because, like, look, the NHC doesn't even have it updated. Wait. Why doesn't the NHC have it updated? Shouldn't they be getting this? Hold up. It's straight from NOAA? Oh. NHC will initiate advisories on Tropical Storm Fernand. Oh, at 5 p.m. Eastern. Okay. So, in about 45 minutes. Nice. So, Tropical Tidbits already has it. Boom. Tropical Storm Fernand. This one might take a little bit of a shot towards Nova Scotia. There she is in all her glory. Let's go. I love my true color. There we go. Actually, let's look at... Oh, nice little rotation in there. There's Tropical Storm Fernand. Let's just say what he did to another streamer is dirty. Yeah, like I hear things. Like I know the lore. You know what I mean? I know the lore with like different weather streamers and stuff, but it would be very irresponsible of me to comment on it because, like, you know, none of these people have done anything wrong to me. I don't need to involve myself in their drama. You know what I mean? There she is. Oh, he is. It's a he. It's 2025. I guess it could be whatever. Let's look at our water vapor. There's our water vapor. I mean, it's, you know, there's Bermuda, by the way. A little sketchy, but it should be good. Should be good. Thanks for the 2 follows, guys. KJ Triss. What's poppin'? What's our G name, chat? What's our G name? Any expectation of tropical weather hitting Miami in early September? You know, the only thing you have to not worry about, but I'd say keep track of right now is this puppy. Moving into a lot of dry air, moving into a lot of wind shear. It's going to be hard for this convection, this disturbance to survive this trek through the Western Atlantic into the Caribbean. But if it does, I think it might. I actually think it will. Once it gets into the Western Caribbean, you know, everyone's kind of gonna have to pay attention here in the Gulf. You know, we have some models having a hurricane make landfall in Florida, you know, 168 hours out. So, let me do the quick math real quick. I should know this. 7 days out. So that would be end of August. That'd be August 30th. But again, I wouldn't really pay attention to these models right now because we don't even know if this thing's going to survive moving through this environment out ahead of it. We don't even know if this thing's going to actually become a cyclone. So, yeah. Yep. It could also slow down, speed up. We don't really know. All right, I'm probably going to get off here because I'm probably going to stream a little bit later on. I'm going to get a little bit more done around the house. And yeah, I'll probably be on later. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for stopping by. Like I said, I'll probably go live later, and then I'll be posting again tomorrow updates, and I'll be going live again tomorrow. I think if I go live tomorrow, though, I'm going to be at the state fair all day. So we'll have to see. I'm probably not going to do like an afternoon live like this tomorrow. It'd probably be evening. Or morning. Maybe morning. All right. I will talk to you guys later. See ya. No problem, Sandra. See you, Kim.